Hello everyone and welcome to a very wet edition of Walk With Me. I'm out for my weekly walk where I just talk to the camera and give you my thoughts on anything topical in the world of photography. And of course this week we've got the announcement of the new Fuji X-Pro3 with the polarizing flip out screen and the new JPEG film simulation of Superior. Now I've got the Fuji X-Pro2, I absolutely love it. So will I be selling it for the new X-Pro3? Well, let's talk about it. Hey travel and film photography fans and street portrait shooters, it's Alan here with Walden Story, bringing you the best tips and inspiration for photographing people around the world. So the plan this week was to release a travel photography challenge with my film camera, a Pentax 6.7. Unfortunately I only got halfway through filming that episode yesterday, so that will hopefully come next week. But today we're going to talk about the X-Pro3, but before that I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody who's subscribed to the channel in the last few weeks. I really do appreciate it, and I'm hoping to reach my initial target of 100 subscribers in the next coming weeks. As you can see now, the rain is really starting to come down again. There was a little bit of a break, so I think what we're going to do is retire to the car, my mobile YouTube studio, and we'll carry on this discussion there. Okay, now that we're back in the car, what we'll do is we'll get comfortable, we'll change over to a better camera, and we'll talk about this new X-Pro3. And we're back. Okay, so let's talk about this new Fuji X-Pro3. It was announced last week in Japan at a very kind of awkward, almost childlike press conference or TV show. It was all a bit weird. Personally, I think Fuji need to speak to the people at Sony and how they do social media releases. Yeah, it was all a bit weird. So anyway, this is my X-Pro2, which I absolutely love. If you were to say to me before that announcement a few days ago, Alan, what would you like to see, or what changes would you like to see on the Fuji X-Pro2? I'd have to say not an awful lot. I'm quite happy with the way it feels in the hand, the weather sealing, the 2-card slots, the screen. Pretty, you know, it kind of shoots my style of shooting, really. Obviously, you know, nobody's going to say no to any sort of improvements in the processor or the sensor or the EVF. You know, that's always great. But I reckon, like, if I could have any sort of X-Pro2, and that's why this titanium body is of kind of interest to me. I like what Fuji's doing with concentrating on pro bodies that are built to last. So if I had a choice, I'd say to Fuji, why not build 2 versions of the X-Pro2, a bit like Leica do. You could have like a completely blacked out, murdered out kind of P version, no logos, nice matte finish. That would be pretty awesome. And the other one would be a brass body. I really do like the way old Leicas wear, and you get that nice brassing around the edges and stuff. And the camera kind of wears into its owner. Yeah, so that would be pretty cool if Fuji did something like that. A murdered or P version and a brass version. But I have to say, the fact that they're going down the route of the titanium body, I think is great. They really are trying to build a photographer's camera that's going to be able to be used in all sorts of weather conditions and locations. So as I say, I've actually been quite happy with my X-Pro2. The weather sealing's great, the form factor, I like this style of shooting, the rangefinder style. The autofocus with the eye autofocus is fantastic for street portraits. The menu system is very good. Nothing's going to be as good, in my opinion, as the Canon system, but nevertheless, very good menu system. So of course the big thing at the announcement last week in Japan was the rear LCD screen, or sort of lack of. The way it folds inwards, and then on the outside here you've just got like an old film strip or film box card holder. So clearly that's quite polarizing design. Not just from people outside of the Fuji world, but also within the Fuji world with the Fuji fanboys. I think it's quite polarizing. I have to say, kudos, all kudos to Fuji for trying something new. In the same way as Leica with the Leica MD, I think it's the MD where they had no screen at all on the back. I really like design like that. Now I know people are complaining, oh, there's no LCD. Nowadays we should have iPhone style LCD functionality. But for me, that's not what this camera is. This camera is, as they said in the announcement, it is very much about the experience. It's about the feel of it and the photographer's style of shooting. And I think if you shoot this kind of rangefinder style, generally you're going to be a photographer who just wants to get rid of all the clutter, a bit like myself and why I shoot film. You just want to concentrate on the exposure triangle, the composition, the story that you're telling, and I don't really want to be distracted by the latest and greatest features. If I want that, then there's the XT series of cameras, the XT3, XT30 and whatever else they bring out soon, and of course the XH1 or XH2 which might be coming out. So I think if you want all those kind of features, IBIS, LCD screens that do all sorts of fancy stuff, video functionality, then Fuji has cameras like that for you. They have the XT series. If you're into just pure photography and taking stills and the experience, then I think the X Pro line is where you need to kind of go. So I'm not really kind of fussed about IBIS in this camera. Yes, it'll be nice, but so long as it doesn't affect the size. But to be honest, I'm not really all that fussed. I think the X Pro 2 is pretty much spot on. Clearly, an X Pro 3 with a better sensor, better processor, better EVF, yeah, that's great, that's lovely, that always helps. But I think, to be quite honest, when they designed this initially, the X Pro 1, I think they, pretty much like the X100 series, which I've had, I think they pretty much nailed the style and the form and functionality spot on. So there's not much in the X Pro 3 that personally I would want to make me kind of change. So unless, as I say, there was like a blacked out, murdered out version or a brass version, I'm kind of pretty much happy with my X Pro 2. I do like the screen. I think, is it enough for me to buy the X Pro 3? I think not. I really do like it. I'm not 100% convinced on it. I think I'd have to kind of get it in my hands to have a feel of it. I'm kind of 80%, I think, well done Fuji for pushing the boundaries, trying something new, trying to be different from all the other cameras. Because if every camera company brought out the same sort of cameras with the same sort of specs, I mean, it would just be a terribly bland world that we live in. So I think, well done Fuji for that. So those batteries on the A6400, which I'm recording on now, really don't last very long. So new battery in, let's just round up this quick video. So as I was saying, kudos to Fuji for trying something new. I'm going to look forward to having a look at that screen and having a bit of a play with it. Probably the one downside that I could see from my workflow is, although I don't like to chimp a lot of the back, when I do my street portraits, I do kind of halfway through the session like to show the images to the people or the person I'm photographing. And I just wonder if bringing the screen all the way down, whether it's just going to be a bit of a faff and a bit of a hassle, and how practical that would be. As I say, well done Fuji for trying something different, but I think it's probably not going to be for me. So let's just quickly round up talking about the new JPEG film simulation. Fuji Superior, I think it's going to be. My prediction would have been that they might have come out with something like Fuji Pro 400H. That film stock in the lifestyle wedding world is very popular indeed. I have to say I prefer Kodak Portra 400 a bit more, but nevertheless, extremely popular film stock. So for me, my prediction, maybe for the next camera, that they might consider doing a JPEG simulation of the Pro 400H. Would that win over some more people to the camera system? Who knows? And if you want to see more videos from my street portrait series, click the box up here. And if you want to see my latest video, click the box over here. And if you like this video, please click or tap on my face above to subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.